What is up, guys? Groovy Guitar Dude here with a very detailed lesson for you guys on Perfect by Ed Sheeran. The first thing that you want to know to play perfect on guitar is that we're going to need a capo on first fret. The next thing you'll need to know to play perfect is the chords we're going to use to play this song. The first one's going to be G. The next one will be E minor. The next one will be C. And the last one will be D. And I'll have chord diagrams for all of these in the comments below. The next thing you want to know for perfect is the strum pattern that we're going to be using for most of the song. And what that's going to be is just going to be a simple 8 down strums. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of put the focus on each 4th down strum. Okay, so we're 8 down strums per chord, and we're going to have one kind of focused down strum in the middle and one focused down strum at the end. So with an E minor, for example, that'll sound kind of like this. Alright guys, that's going to bring us into our chords. So for our verse, we're going to start with our chords that are going to be, the chord progression for our verse is going to be G, E minor, C, and D. And we're going to stick with that same strum pattern, so when you put all that together, it should sound something like this. Alright, next we're going to come to the pre-chorus. So very similar chords, actually. So the only thing that's going to change just a little bit. So we're going to do G, E minor, C, D. We're going to do those all 8 down strums, just like regular. But then, for our first time through that, we're going to go back to G, and then we're going to go to D. But we're going to go through those last 2 chords, that G and that D, we're only going to do half, so those will be 4 down strums. And then after that, we're just going to repeat the G, E minor, C, D one more time, full 8 down strums. So I'll play through that whole thing to show you what it looks like. It's going to look kind of like this. And that's going to take us into the chorus. Now the chorus is really easy. It's just going to be E minor, C, G, and D. And we're just going to stick with that 8 down strums per chord. Very, very simple on this one. So when we put all that together for the chorus, it should look about like this. And guys, that's going to cover about 90% of this song. So one little thing it does after the first chorus, I can't remember if it does it after the second or third choruses as well, but it does this little mini turnaround thing, and I'm not going to really walk through exactly every little piece of what I'm doing for it. It's literally like a 2 or 3 second piece, but all he's going to be doing is he's going to be walking down from G to D over F sharp, and then E minor, and then D, and then C, he's going to stay on that C just a little bit longer, and then back down to D. He's just picking through those is all he's doing. It's just a little walk down. So I'll run through what I'm doing on that. I'm not really going to tell you all each individual string just because for the sake of keeping this lesson short for the most part. But this will look kind of like this. Alright guys, the very last part of Perfect that we're going to need to know is this little solo he plays through here. It's not super complicated, it's a little bit more advanced than the rest of the song, but you guys will get it no problem. So I'm going to kind of divide this up into quarters just to keep it kind of organized a little bit. So we're going to start with the first quarter, obviously. So we're going to start on, it's all on the D and G strings. And what we're going to have is we're going to start with a open to hammer on 2nd fret of the D. And then we're going to go to open G, and then we're going to go to 2nd G, and then we're going to hit 2nd G again, and then we're going to slide up to 4th on that, and that's going to be our first quarter. So, played slowly, it'll be about like this. So that's our first quarter. So from there, we're going to hang out on that last note for just a second. We're going to let that ring out, by the way. So from there, our second quarter of this little solo is going to go, we're on G string, so G 4th fret, G 2nd fret, open G, 2nd on G. We're going to let that hang out for just a second. And this is going to be probably the most difficult part of this solo. It's just a really quick little thing. So we're going to hit this, we're going to have that 2nd on G ring out just a little bit, and then we're going to hit this. It's going to be a hammer on to 4th, and then you're going to pull down with this finger, with your ring finger, and you're going to let it open up. So hammer on to 4th, pull off to open on that. So it's all one motion, and it is very quick. That's going to be kind of the only tough part of this solo. So that whole second quarter of the solo should look something like this, slowed down. So that brings us to our third quarter. So we're halfway through the solo so far. Our third quarter is actually just going to be the same exact thing as our first quarter. So played through that slowly one more time is going to be. So that's our third quarter. That was going to bring us to our very last piece. All right, so this is the last piece of the solo that you're going to need. It's going to be, you're going to do a 2nd fret on G, an open G, 2nd fret on G, and then we're going to have a 4th slide to 5th. I'm going to let that ring out for just a second. We're going to have another 4th slide to 5th, and then we're going to have a 4th on G, 5th on G, and then 2nd on G, let that ring out, and that will be the last note of that solo. So all together, guys, this solo is the last piece of the song we really need to know. Everything else is in the chords and stuff like that we've already been over. So I'm going to run over this, and this will take us out of the lesson. I'm not 100% good on it yet, so I'm going to make some mess-ups in there, but I'm going to try to do my very best. I'm going to run through it probably just a little bit slower than he does, and then you guys can speed it up later. So just so you guys can really see what I'm doing. And guys, that is all you're going to need to know to play Perfect by Ed Sheeran. As always, if you guys have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments below. I'm usually pretty quick getting back to those. And if this video helped you out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I have about 315 other guitar and ukulele lessons on this channel, and I usually post 1 to 3 new ones every single day. I really try to get that many out every single day. So if you're learning guitar or ukulele, this is the perfect channel for you to check out. Lastly, guys, if you're interested in any of my gear, whether it's my camera, microphone, guitars, strings, picks, capos, any of that kind of stuff, I have that all linked in the description below. I get a lot of questions on the kind of gear that I use to make these videos and stuff, people curious about the kind of gear I like to use. So I went ahead and just put that all in the description, so that way it's easy for those of you who are curious to find. Guys, I hope you have a lot of fun playing Perfect. It's a very beautiful song, great song to play to your significant other, and I will see you guys very, very soon.